Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правый назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правый назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Hey babe, эти понты покупались во рту. Твои мозги затупились к утру. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правый назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правый назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правый назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правый назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя.
You have to hang on to something in your life to say everything is still somewhat normal, or you'll crack. I mean, after the last 2 years that we've been through, everyone's under intense mental stress, and we keep getting more and more of that stress every day. And it comes to a boiling point where you might need medication. You might need therapy.
You know why I'm really
You don't know
going
what
through
to
this?
believe anymore.
You know why I'm going through this right now? Because over the past 2 weeks, I've engaged in conversations with, and I've seen and heard from people who are saying things from the freedom side that are exposing what I think are thoughts that are somewhat irrational or based on things that are not factual at all. And I find it disturbing. I'm afraid of what I'm seeing. I'm afraid that some people are being led astray. And I don't like to even think about that because I don't want to, you see, then I start to sound like these people on the other side of the political spectrum in the mainstream media who are saying things like they're all conspiracy theorists. They're all far right extremists. I don't want to go there. But even on our side, I see that some people, in my opinion, are latching on to ideas or information that I don't think is grounded in reality at all.
At all.
Right.
At all. Yeah. It's the same thing in the States. You know, I sent you some interesting articles the other night. I don't know if you had a chance to look at them, but no matter what you think of QAnon, I'm going to give an example of one QAnon breakoff group, I guess, is how the larger QAnon movement looks at this group. This group is even too crazy for most people who believe that Q is a thing. There's this group down in Dallas, and late last year, they're led by a guy who calls himself, I think, Negative 48. That's his online handle. His real name is Michael Protzman. And he's kind of like this messianic leader that these people follow, believe everything that he says, which when you listen to what he says, it sounds like a lot of crazy nonsense. This man needs medication, you know, but he's got a huge following. He's got like over 100,000 followers on Telegram. They believe everything that he says. And he told them all last November, make the pilgrimage, come to Dallas around the anniversary of President Kennedy's murder, November 22nd. They all gathered in Dealey Plaza, scene of the crime, and they did all kinds of chants and rituals, and they were trying to call Kennedy back. Now, were they calling the spirit of JFK up from the grave? Not exactly, because in their warped belief system, they think Kennedy is still alive at age whatever he'd be, 104, still alive, and he's been waiting to come back when his followers are like Jesus, you know, he's going to rise from the grave. They thought that if they went to Dealey Plaza on November 22nd, he would appear. Not only that, but wait, there's more. That he was going to bring his son with him, JFK Jr., right? Who died in a plane crash. He was a pilot, died in a plane crash in 1999 that killed his wife, Carolyn Bessette, and her sister, Lauren Bessette. They all three perished in this plane crash. We all watched it on TV. Are anybody out there old enough to remember the TV covered nothing but this search for the plane and covered his funeral? And we all commonly accepted the reality that he died, as hard as it was to accept, because we all had a emotional love for John. You know, if you remember him as a kid, you grew up with him. It was hard to accept that this promising young man, maybe a future president, we hoped, but he was gone. Well, the QAnon people don't live in that reality, or at least this particular group of believers who think that JFK Jr. is not dead, his wife and sister-in-law are not dead, and that they were going to show up in Dallas for this magical reunion. And they were going to, they'd been in the witness protection program all these years, right? That's the story that they believe. And they were going to come out of hiding, and JFK Jr. was going to run with Donald Trump in 2024 as Donald Trump's running mate. Bonkers. They wouldn't leave. They came down to Dealey Plaza every day. They were all staying at this real expensive hotel, the Hyatt, which is just a couple of blocks away from Dealey Plaza. You can see Dealey Plaza from the upper story windows. So they all stayed there. You know how expensive that place is? I mean, it's a penthouse suite that the Mr. Protzman, their leader, was staying in. That's probably a $600 or more a night hotel room. And they had funding. They had people, believers, who were sending lots and lots of money to fund this mission to Dallas last year. So they put him up at this hotel for 6 months. And the people who believed him and followed him, I would have to compare them to a cult. They had that cult mindset. And once they joined the cult, everyone thought, their families thought they were just going to Dallas for the weekend in November. They stayed for 5 months. Their husbands, wives, kids are like, where's mom? Why hasn't she come back? Oh, she's in Dallas, honey. We don't know exactly when she's coming back. And why is all the money disappearing out of our joint bank account? You know, they some of these people literally donated themselves into bankruptcy supporting this nut bar. And he uses children in a disturbing way to keep his followers following him, you know, like this whole movement is somehow for the little children, we have to protect the innocent children. And he has little 10 and 12-year-old kids that appear on his videos who've clearly been brainwashed. These kids are, not right. He's not right in the head. So anyway, you would think after a couple of weekends, some of these people would say, well, I guess JFK's not coming back. I guess JFK Jr. is not coming back. Let's go home. No, they stayed and stayed for 5 months. Finally, it all fell apart due to infighting and stuff like that. But then he came back. The Q people came back to Dallas in June because once again, he got his followers to believe JFK will be there on this date at this time. This time, really, I promise. This time, okay, last time it didn't work out. This time, really, he's going to be there. So everybody come back to Dallas, and they did. And I don't know, they may still be there. I haven't heard an update in a while. They might still be camping out and doing their strange rituals in Dealey Plaza every day. But yeah, this Protzman guy, I get big Jim Jones vibes off of him. I think he's dangerous. He is literally telling his followers that these pedophiles, these blood drinkers need to be mass executed.
So you can see how that can be done to a group of people. You can also, over the past 2 years, see how an entire population, and maybe even the population of the world, can fall prey to a sophisticated psychological operation. If you know what I'm talking about. Because
yeah,
I can't
it's like
really,
MK Ultra stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
But
like
I'm
mass
talking
brainwashing.
about people on the the thing on the shoulder crowd, right?
Mhm.
Not the freedom side, but the other side. Even today, I'm driving down the road and I'm seeing people in their cars with baby diapers on their faces, right? Alone in their own car, alone. Even now, I don't.
So weird.
I mean, okay,
It's like a mental tick at this point, isn't it?
well, yeah, but it's just like in your own car by yourself still, it's not going to get you there. It's just not going to get you there. But also on the freedom side, like I said, I've seen, I see people buying into ideas that I think are just not grounded in reality. So I'm seeing people on both sides. Not a lot of people on the freedom side. Not a lot. Just a handful, a few. I think it's because they're frustrated, because it's gone on so long, because people were locked down for quite a while, because there is all kinds of information out there, and there's that famous
There he is now,
shot
John
right
John.
there. Yeah.
I named my cat John John. Sorry to interrupt, but the
Yeah.
little black cat that's always jumping up here and getting on camera and saying, hello,
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mama cat is named Jacqueline. They're the son of Jack and Jackie, sons and daughters. They're twins, and the kids' names are Caroline and John John. But I'm not a QAnon person. I'm just a Kennedy scholar.
Right.
It's just a subject that interests me. Anyway, I guess that makes me a crazy cat lady. So I'm as crazy as everybody else.
Well, there you go, right? Like,
I named my cats after the Kennedys. I must be nuts, right?
yeah, some people might think so. Honestly,
Why couldn't I
that's
name
the
them
crazy
Sue?
Kennedy cat lady. Yeah, right. Everybody has a different perspective on things. I always try to keep an open mind. I'm in constant check of myself. I think that can be, I think you have to be. I think you have to, I think it's healthy. I'm not sure but I still, even as I check myself, you can drive yourself nuts checking yourself, right?
Right. At some point, you have to settle in on what you actually believe. You have to define your own reality, or yes, you will lose your marbles.
Yeah.
I'm open to changing my mind. If I see better evidence,
Yeah.
I will change my mind. But yeah, you have to define what you actually believe and not just be carried by the wind every time it blows.
Well, right now, it's important that people stay grounded in reality. We are at a turning point, I think, in this conflict, in this war, this new age war that we're engaged in, this struggle for freedom. Now more than ever, it's important that everyone stay grounded in reality because we need everyone to stay with us so we can fight, so we're strong. We can't get distracted. We can't have people taking off down side roads that lead to dead ends or worse.
Or worse.
We just can't
Jail.
have it. Jail, death.
It's, that's been the subject of much discussion here over the last couple of weeks. There's a Canada movement, and some people are thinking, hey, maybe it'd be a great idea if we took over a government building. If you do that, you're going to get shot.
Yep.
Probably fatally. They're not even going to put you on trial. You're never going to get your day in court. Unless you surrender peacefully, you're never going to get your day in court to tell your side of your story and what you believe. And frankly, most people out there don't care what you believe.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it. You tried to storm a government building and you get what you deserve.
Doesn't mean we're not going to keep fighting. We are. We're fighting here tonight. It's just important to stay on track, stay focused, stay grounded in reality. Question your reality. I think it's healthy. Ask yourself, is what I'm thinking, is it rational? Is what I'm thinking, is it really true? Should I take this action or take that action?
You do. It's a gut check.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. You got to do a gut check. Does this feel right? Does this feel true? Listen to your gut. Your gut will never steer you wrong. If your gut says something isn't right, it's probably not.
Yeah.